Are you interested in saving money? Do you want to make choices that are smart for you, the environment, and the state that you live in? Welcome to Local Discovery, a spotlight on Maine's energy. It's the show that travels the state in search of the most current information on Maine's energy options. I'm Kristen Martin. Stay with us for the next half hour as we shine a spotlight on Maine's heating oil. We'll learn how to operate our homes more efficiently, how to conserve fuel, and how to save money. We'll also explore how Maine is using more and more biofuels, and we'll be giving you some easy money-saving tips along the way. So if it concerns energy efficiency and it can help you in Maine, you'll find it here first on Local Discovery, a spotlight on Maine's energy. It's no secret that Maine has very high energy costs, and as a result, Maine residents are under constant pressure to reduce costs and find new ways to go green. Wind energy, solar systems, and geothermal heat pumps are just some of the new technologies that are getting attention these days. But these new technologies can be expensive, and are they really the best way to conserve energy, to save money, and to be green? Well, to find out what is myth and what is fact, we're catching up with Sarah Crowley, a 20-year executive in the oil and propane industry. Sarah, it seems to me that there are quite a few misconceptions floating out there when it comes to Maine's consumption of heating oil. Why do you think that is?
Oh, I get that a lot. I'm glad you asked. I think, first of all, the media is focusing a lot right now on alternative energy sources, and so that's what Mainers are hearing about. Alternatively, what we aren't doing a good job of is talking about our own industry, what we have done and what we are doing.
All right, well, it's not news that we have very high energy costs. So what are some of the factors that are driving that cost?
Oh, I don't know if a lot of Mainers know this, but they're paying some of the highest electricity rates in the entire country. And the other factor would be, it's no secret, it gets kind of cold up here and takes a lot of energy to keep us warm.
All right, well, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go out onto the street and talk to some Maine residents and see what they actually believe when it comes to their energy consumption. And then I'm going to come back here and see how well informed we really are.
Oh, good, great.
Over 80% of Maine homes are using oil as their primary source for home heat. Do you happen to know where that oil is coming from?
I would think the Middle East, probably Saudi Arabia.
I would have to say the Middle East, Iraq.
Well, I imagine a lot of it's coming from this country.
Probably from the Mideast, I would imagine.
That oil is coming from somewhere in the Mideast.
Probably the Middle East, Saudi Arabia.
The majority of the oil that we consume is actually coming from our neighbors, from Canada and Mexico. And less than 9% of all of the oil that we import is coming from the Persian Gulf.
So of all of the industry coming out of the state of Maine, which industry do you think is using the most amount of oil?
Probably the heating industry.
The trucking industry?
Probably the home heating industry.
Like boats, or I don't know. I don't know. I think it's probably the trucking industry.
I want to say transportation, but I think it might not be.
We're using about less than 40% of all the energy sources that are consumed for all of those types of activities is even petroleum. So all the other alternatives aside, it's about less than 40%. Of that 40%, it's over 70% that's used for transportation. So that's the majority of it. It's 5%, just 5% that's used to heat homes and commercial businesses. So for heat, 5%.
Why do you think that Maine has the 6th highest electricity rates out of the entire country?
Well, the price of oil is so volatile. It has been for a while. It seems like people are probably using electricity more to heat their homes.
Probably taxes.
Probably because of our high reliance on foreign oil.
Because it's very cold and most of our housing stock has insufficient insulation.
I think it's because we have very cold winters.
Probably because it's so cold up here.
Some people may use electric heat, and that's very expensive, and it runs a lot of electricity. I don't know if that's a factor, but what else would be? There are long winters, and people stay in and watch their TVs, and have a lot of appliances on. Whereas when you're in a warmer climate, you're outside and you're not using as much electricity.
What's really true is that less than 2% of all of the electricity that's generated is generated using a petroleum product, so it's very little.
Of all oil used in the country annually, what percentage of that oil do you think Maine is using for home heat?
Probably about 20%. Like 60%?
I guess more than 5.
Probably pretty high because it's so cold up here. I'd say probably 20%.
Well, I don't know, probably a lot more than other states, that's for sure.
Do you want to take a stab at a number?
25%.
What's really happening is that of all of the oil consumed in the United States, only 1.7% is used to heat homes through the whole country. Of that, Maine is using 6%. So you put those two numbers together and what you end up with is less than 1/10% of all of the country's oil is heating Mainers' homes.
That's quite a bit less than 20 or 30%.
A little bit.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah, for talking with us today. I think you've put quite a few of those misconceptions to rest.
Well, thank you.
Hi, we're in the basement with money-saving tip number 1 to save you money. Air infiltration comes through the rim joist. We cut a piece of foam insulation, we place it in the rim joist, we insulate it with spray foam, and then we cover it with sheetrock for fire protection, and we end up saving a lot of money.
We've just learned that the vast majority of Mainers use oil as their primary source for home heat. So it's easy to see that this demand has us relying on Maine's energy companies for filling our tanks, for providing us with the most recent technology, and for servicing the systems that heat our homes. So to learn more about the people behind Maine's energy, we've come to the Maine Energy Marketers Association to talk with Jamie Pye. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, how you doing, Kristen?
Good, thanks. So tell me, what exactly is Maine Energy Marketers Association?
We're a trade organization that represents about 450 companies in the state, mostly family-owned businesses that have about 12,000 employees throughout the state that all work together to bring energy products and services to the people of Maine.
So by representing so many different Maine businesses, you must have some collective goal in mind. What is that goal?
Sure, you mentioned earlier that 80% of people use heating oil, and we like to remind people of why they're doing it and where we're going as far as energy efficiency and cleanliness and greenness. And I know for the last 30 years, the price has been relatively stable, although, in 2008, you had one price spike that was caused by commodity trading and speculation. But really, over that past 30 years, you have very stable prices, averaging probably around $1.50 over the last 30 years. So you have a very affordable price, affordable product. It's getting cleaner every day. You're using less. We've moved from 1,300 gallons a year to 800 gallons a year. We're moving to 500 to 600 gallons a year because of technology and weatherization. Just remind people that these things are happening with our product. It's clean, it's efficient, it's affordable.
Okay. Now, I'm hearing a lot at my place of work, in the news, in schools. There's this term energy efficiency that's been thrown around so much that, in my opinion, it's actually lost its meaning. So what are they talking about when we hear so much about energy efficiency?
Yeah, energy efficiency does have a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people, so it's no surprise that you're confused with this thing too. I boil it down to be very simple. Energy efficiency to me means that I'm using less fuel and getting more value for my dollar. Whether it's my car, which is a high mileage car that gets really great gas mileage, or whether it's my home heating system that allows me to use a lot less fuel than I would otherwise with some other system.
Okay. Now you mentioned cars. When I'm filling my car in the state of Maine, I'm seeing lots of national and even international signs. I'm seeing Exxon and Mobil and Citgo. So are my dollars actually leaving the state of Maine?
Well, primarily all of those stations are owned by local Maine businesses. 95% of them are in the state of Maine, owned by local mostly family-owned businesses, own your local convenience store, own your local gas outlet. So just because they have a sign, it's really just what they call flagging. They're flagging the sign as an Exxon. That company has some relationship with buying the product from Exxon or from Mobil or from Citgo. So what happens sometimes is people get confused about who owns what, and there's been you see over the years, oh, let's boycott this company, let's boycott that company. But you're really not boycotting those companies that are on the flag. What you're ending up doing is you're hurting your local business person.
All right, well, it sounds like then that these Maine energy providers are actually supporting Maine families and helping the state of Maine as far as the economy goes.
Sure, all these companies have about 12,000 employees in the state, very well-paying jobs, most with health insurance and those sorts of benefits. And again, they're trying to bring these products to you. It's a highly competitive business. What this really comes down to is people Maine people, and these Maine people work hard to help you stay warm, save money, and feel good about your choice for home heat. These people have operated for generations, serving our communities and supporting our local economy. We hope to continue serving you for generations to come.
Hi, we're here in the attic for the money-saving tip number 2. It's important that there's enough insulation in the attic to prevent heat loss. So we're going to measure and see that there's at least 12 inches of cellulose or pink fiberglass insulation. We'll also check to see that all the fixtures that lead up to the attic are sealed, such as lights. That's going to save us a lot of money.
One key aspect of being a leader in the energy industry is the ability to stay up to date when it comes to advancements in systems and on technological improvements. So to learn more about the educational opportunities available to Maine's energy marketers, we've come to MTEC, the MEMA Technical Education Center right here in Brunswick, to talk with Roger Mitchell. Hey Roger, how are you?
Oh, hi Kristen.
Is it okay if I interrupt for a few minutes?
Yeah, I guess we can spare a couple minutes.
All right, so this is a really impressive facility you have here. Tell me, how long have you been here?
We've built this facility 6 years ago, and we've been running it ever since, and we teach oil and gas and air conditioning and solar heating, solar hot water, and we also do energy audit training.
All right, well tell me a little bit about this facility, because this is pretty state-of-the-art, this lab that we're in.
Yeah, this is all the equipment that we received is from donations from manufacturers, and we train all of the students on the latest and greatest stuff.
All right, well who is a typical student then at MTEC?
It's generally somebody looking to get into the industry to work as a licensed technician in your home.
All right, now obviously you are on the forefront when it comes to advanced systems. So do you mind showing me some of the equipment that you're working with?
Sure, let's take a look at this one over here.
All right.
What led me to take a class here is I needed to change my life. I heard about this school, read about it, decided I wanted to get into a class to get a career. I came to this school for 2 classes and it changed my life. The teachers here just did awesome. They taught me a lot, they stuck with me. It's very individual teaching here as well. When I came to MTech, I knew nothing of oil burners. After taking this class, I can fully install any system with high efficiency. I can also save you time and money with the technology and teaching I learned from this school.
This is one of our oil-fired appliances, and we train our technicians on how to install these properly to save the homeowner money on their oil bill.
All right, so what is the advantage of this system versus what I may have in my own basement?
Well, this one stores hot water in a storage tank for your use at your faucets so that the burner comes on only as needed.
Okay, so when we're talking about energy savings and fuel efficiency, what can a system such as this save a Maine resident?
Modern appliances today generally save you about 40% on your heating bill.
Well, that's impressive. So what are we talking dollar-wise?
Well, if you were burning 800 gallons, which is about the average amount that a customer would burn, you would save a couple hundred gallons.
Well, my husband did some research on boilers and he discovered that we would probably save quite a bit of money by getting a more efficient boiler. So we decided to replace our not so old boiler. Well, the first couple of years we lived at the house, we burned about 900 gallons of oil, and with the new boiler, the more efficient boiler, we burned about 600, or actually a little less than 600 gallons. So that's about 30% savings. I'm very happy to be using more updated equipment. I like having a furnace that's cleaner and better for the environment, and I like using a renewable fuel. It makes me feel like in a way I'm doing my part.